So let's talk about the Washington Nationals season. As you see around my background and also on previous videos, have you seen that I am a Nationals fan? Well, mostly a DC sports fan, but I like the Nationals because I particularly like baseball and where you go outside and watch the game. And it's just a very unique experience from the other sports leagues to that. So that's why I'm a National Seasons ticket holder. So this upcoming season, which actually starts on Thursday, it's going to be the most unique situation the Nats will ever be. So they're coming from a terrible 2020 season, essentially, basically the parade essentially from their championship 2 years ago, but with COVID and the other stuff that was taken away from them. So they only got the banner raising and only gave the rings just to the players just immediately, and there was no ceremony of some. So this upcoming season, it feels like this is gonna be the swan song of the older veteran group of this team. Essentially, this might be the last year of Zim. This is the last year of the contract of Max Scherzer and others as well. But basically, the two remaining key people for this team will be Juan Soto and Trey Turner, and those guys will be staying with the team. So this feels like the old San Francisco Giants teams from the 2010s when they won 3 world championships in 5 years with basically 3 different setups. I feel this is the Nationals team of that ilk. So it's going to be weird. And then I anticipate the strength is going to be definitely starting pitching. With you have Strauss healthy, Max, Corbin, John Lester, who might be coming and play, and then maybe a motivated Joe Ross. So you have a good, strong 5, and then you have a much better bullpen than expected. You have Brad Hand. Now you have Will Harris, Tanner Rainey. I only call him Warwick. Tanner Rainey, and then also you have Daniel Hudson in his last year of his contract. So this is definitely a swan song of some sort for this particular team. So my prediction for them, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think this is going to be definitely a above 500 team. I do not know they're going to win the division. I think Atlanta will win. I know a lot of experts are saying the Mets. I think the Mets might be a playoff team, but I do a postseason team, and the Nationals might be close to there. So it's back to a 10-team playoff format. So basically, you're going to have your 3 divisional champions and the 2 wild cards facing each other in the wild card game. So it's a lot difficult now to get in because last year with all the COVID stuff, so you had to expand postseason of some sort. You had like 14 teams, but this year will be 10. So it'll be a lot harder to get in. But could the Nats do it? Yeah, I think they have the team who can make it into the postseason. I think they might be at best a wild card team. They can win the division. I do think the NL East is very stacked, and it's up for grabs. But it'll be very tough to see how the Nats are gonna be in this one. So they're gonna be in it, but I don't. It's gonna be hard for them to. They'll be in the battle for that wild card spot. So expect to see that on that end. But then again, they went to the wild card game and won the World Series in 2019. So, hey, I don't mind about that. This feels like this will be the last Nats team of our generation, of our current generation, with the Zims and the others. And this might be it. And the reason for that is that the CBA does expire after this season. And this is a big ordeal. And what confluence on this one is the current MASN deal, what's going on with it. So just want to tell you what the situation is going on. So when the Expos moved to DC in 2005, it was agreed upon that Peter Angelos, who was complaining a lot, that if you put a team in DC, you take away the Baltimore audience and the TV ratings, and Selig just said, okay, fine, you can have it. And then, yes, Angelos had control of the O's and the MASN deal, not only for the O's, but for the Nats as well. And basically, the new owner, the Lerners, in 2006 had control. When they bought the team, they realized they had to be part of it. And first 5 seasons, 26 to 2011, the O's did pay the Nats the money to it because basically both teams sucked. But when the Nats got good in 2012, and also the O's got good in 2012, that's when the revenue kicked in, and that's where the issue is going on right now. So just to update where everything is in the MASN ordeal, the O's are expected to pay $100 million from the 2012 to 2016 period to the Nats, but they have not made the payment, and they're basically making a bunch of lawsuits, so it will prolong the process. And then we still haven't gotten into the payment of the current years because the Nationals basically made that money basically mostly by themselves, not only in 2017, slightly 2018 with the last year of Harper, but 2019 with that magical year and that championship run. And now there's talk about what the O's are going to do, because now there's about Peter Angelo's health, which I think it's public knowledge that it's declined. The Angelos brothers now have full control of it, and they have issues now with the MASN network and the O's itself, and it might be potential they might have to sell all of it, and this is where it gets a little bit sticky here. So, on a known basis of this, you want the team to sell to get everything off, but Angelos wants to keep everything of it. There's an article in the past week that Thomas Boswell worked on. I'll show you the picture and then the article in the below so you can take a read on that one. But it basically states that the O's are basically signing up to sell their team, and because one, Angelos is failing health, and two, they cannot maintain both the O's and the network itself. And as you see from the MASN network, they had to lay off a bunch of people, not only on the O's staff, but basically mostly everyone in the Nats staff, with the exception of FP and Bob, because they're the main broadcasters and they need them badly. And people are saying, wait, could the Nationals release their contract? Could they move forward? Could the Learners buy out? Sure, they could. And that would make it easy. However, and this is where the CBA comes in. There's a lot of heat between the owners and the players right now. And I do not see any agreement coming anytime soon. Not immediately. And it might be carrying through next year, and that's a big ordeal. And that's the problem right now, is that Rob Manfred has done nothing to solve this issue. He wants this to be under the rug and such. But now, because with what's going on with the streaming rights, especially what's going on with the TV rights deal all around with the NFL and NHL rights, TV rights, the LB got their rights done, but they're screwed. They mostly based it on standard TV, linear television, and they didn't think about streaming. They didn't think about what to do with the blackouts, the local blackouts. They have not solved this, and this whole thing has been a mess right now. And this is why, and people are saying, oh, should the Nationals should leave? They should pay it out. It'll be easy for them, yeah. But where would they go? Where would they go? Only two solutions of this one. You have NBC Sports Washington. Yeah, they have a bunch of networks. They got 2 networks in the area, and they can fill that time easily. Here's the problem. It's mostly owned by Dan Snyder, basically mostly with the Washington Football Team Network. And then you have Ted Leonsis, who owns the minority stake of the NBC Sports Washington. And guess what? If it was, let's say, a few years ago, the Nationals going to NBC Sports Washington would have been a slam dunk, easily. But with the rise of the WNBA, and especially the rise of the Washington Mystics with Elena Deladon and then Natasha Cloud, and what the league has done, they actually got a senator elected to government. It actually helped the country go over to a 50-50 split. So the WNBA has a lot of momentum, and Ted would want to keep that. So he would want his team, well, not necessarily his team, it would be Sheila Johnson's team, but that team to be the main part of the NBC Sports Washington package. And then there's the second option, which I really don't like, and that's Sinclair. And this might be the likely winner of this one, but the problem is Sinclair doesn't have any money. They got roasted during the pandemic. They had already RSNs. They bought them out because the Department of Justice didn't want Disney to get those RSNs. So the Department of Justice told Disney to say, "Hey, sell this off immediately." And Disney did that, and Sinclair got those rights, and they were supposed to make a lot of money. However, with the pandemic, that is screwed. That they screwed everything up. And here's the thing. RSNs are heavily dictated by baseball. And baseball is not popular these days. And as you see on the NHL TV rights deal, streaming is the way to go. And that's why the NFL might be dealing with the Sunday ticket. And that Sunday ticket becomes a very interesting ordeal because now you might see ESPN Plus buying it. That's why ESPN bought the NHL because of ESPN Plus. They have the strength in that streaming service. And the NBA in a few years will have their TV rights, and they're looking to double it to like $7 billion a year, which is, I think, a little bit too rich. But the NBA TV platform and the whole thing with the NBA Top Shot and such, that's making a lot of money. And who's going to take that? Would it be... Because just remember, NBA TV is owned by Warner Media. Would Warner Media buy it? Or would ESPN Plus be part of the streaming service with the NBA? That would be very interesting what to see on that front. And that's the problem with baseball. They made the TV deal. They got their money. But it doesn't help with the future generation of fans. Because there's nothing on streaming. And the only time you can go streaming is basically you go to the app of the cable station and then declare on that front. And this is where the Nats are getting screwed on this one, because if they do leave, they basically have no home. They can have a home, but they will be the second fiddle of this group. And this puts the Nationals in a terrible spot, because for the CBA and what's going to happen next year, it's screwed. The Nats are screwed. Except for one thing. That one thing will be Jeff Bezos. You saw in the news, Jeff Bezos wanted to buy the Washington football team. But Dan Snyder bought out the minority stake of the group and now has full control of the Washington football team. It was rumored that Bezos would have bought the Washington football team, but it now sounds like Dan Snyder will have full control of it. If Bezos would have owned the team, he would have maybe brought in the Nationals for the TV package, and that would resolve those issues of it. But I do think now Bezos becomes the key point for the Nationals, because if there's a strike or a lockout, Bezos might want to come in and help out the Nationals, because he has a lot of stake in DC, because you have the Amazon HQ2. He also owns the Washington Post. And if he gets the Nationals, he probably won't own the team, but if he can get the TV deal and the naming rights to that stadium at Nationals Park, he becomes the savior of the Nationals and helps the learners out to have their own network. Now, this is where it becomes very intriguing. I don't think you're going to see any deal coming in today or next year. It's just basically, it's going to happen after the CBA. I do think the best recommendation for the Nationals is to stay with MASN for now, because it's good. RSS right now is a sinking ship. Now baseball is stuck with a huge bill. Luckily, they have 5 more years of it, but after those 5 years, it's screwed. They're screwed because everyone's moving to streaming, and the owners built this deal because they want their own money. Because understand this, RSNs are beneficial for baseball owners. They get all the money what they make, with the exception with the Baltimore, Washington area, because Angelos has all control of the money, essentially, and that's why he wants to keep it. The Nationals get some of it, but not total control of it. And this is where I think Bezos comes in and uses the Nationals as an experiment. He can create a Nationals network of some sort, either on Amazon Prime or have one channel dedicated to the Nationals of some sort, and then other stuff as well. I don't think. I think Bezos becomes the key player in 2023, and see what the Nationals are going to do. And this is the scary thing here, and this might sound weird, and I hate to say this, but this might be. You're actually rooting for a strike or a lockout, and it goes extended, hopefully to the 2022 season. And the only reason I say that is it kills two birds with one stone. One, it will kill MASN. It will definitely kill MASN because cable networks have deals that you have to reach a certain number of games. If MASN doesn't reach those certain number of games, they have to repay the cable providers of the lost service. And the second thing is Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred has been screwing baseball up. He always there to change baseball, like giving new, fresh ideas. And this boggles my mind, is that if he had new, fresh ideas, he had a gold mine with MLB Advanced Media. And just remember MLB. People think of it as an old, stodgy sport. For the most part, it is. The first league to advance the technology, all the streaming stuff. MLB started first, and that's why with BAMTech. And it's interesting now that Disney bought BAMTech from MLB, and now MLB is stuck with it. Now they're stuck with the old relics of the owners who want their money, and they want to keep it for themselves. And that is where the huge concern is, because Rob Manfred is trying to make the owners happy, and that's a terrible ordeal. And this is where Theo Epstein might be the new commissioner. That's why he works now with MLB, because they need to figure out how to make the sport better. But when he comes in, I think he's going to come in as the neutral person. He might be better for the owners, but he might have to give them ideas of what to do with the TV deal. Because if streaming is popular, he needs to figure out how can streaming help benefit the owners and gain all this money. Because, as you know, people are going to ESPN Plus and such. Could MLB have their own network? They had the infrastructure, and they gave that already to Disney. And it'll be interesting that MLB might need to rely on Disney to help them build up their sport again. And that's why you didn't hear a lot of hype of the MLB TV rights since it's been done, because Fox and Turner paid a lot of money. Basically paid 2 times what they paid from the previous deal. And ESPN essentially reduced the payment because they'd taken off 1 day. And this is a lot of talk with the NHL. And that's about cultural relevancy. Because the thing is, the NHL won't get a lot of ratings TV rights, which is fine. But they'll be in streaming, and they know about these streaming rights, and NHL and ESPN are lockstep about streaming. LOB is stuck because the owners want their own money. They're stuck with these RSNs because they're the money makers for it. But that might be a lost cause down the line, and that's where the sketchy future is. What's going to happen? Or is MLB going to realize that streaming is the future, and that they need to go into streaming and take out the local blackouts, which has been hampering baseball for a long time? I'm discussing about this because I'm a baseball fan. I really like baseball, and I really want the Washington Nationals to do well. I just don't know what the future holds. People are saying, like, where's the TV deal? What's going to happen? The problem is, who's going to take them? Who's going to take them? And I think the one person you have to look into is Jeff Bezos. And that will be the key to the national future. Other than that, baseball is screwed. If it's status quo as of now, they're ruined. The sport will be irrelevant in the next 5 years. And if you can tell that, you have to look into ESPN. That tells a lot. I'll check on my channels. Here's the stuff of it. So I'll see you on Sunday on Easter. I will have a special video. Alright, take care.